those of us who are patriots, who believe in this country, we're dealing with the enemy from within and the enemy from without. And it's a tough thing to do. It's daunting. You know, we used to have nuclear weapons in South Korea. Past presidents have always negotiated with the regime in North Korea from a position of weakness, even though we were in a stronger position. And they would give them food and they would give them money to prop up this disgusting Soviet-style regime. And all the time they were lying and cheating, as you can expect, because that's what fascists and Marxists do. And so now North Korea has nuclear weapons and South Korea doesn't have any. We took all of our medium-range missiles out as part of a deal with North Korea. That's what I mean. This stuff is just so mind-boggling to me. So we do have joint military exercises as the North Koreans are ramping up their missile testing. And their missiles are getting increasingly sophisticated. Their distance is getting closer and closer to where they can reach the United States. Not yet, but they're getting there. And of course, they can hit Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Australia, and so forth. Can you imagine they have them and then Iran gets them? I mean, it's mind-boggling. Let's take a look at this from the PBS NewsHour. Go.
Tensions on the Korean Peninsula are running high. This month, the U.S. and South Korea launched.
By the way, have you noticed tensions are running high everywhere? On the Korean Peninsula, on the islands off of Japan, on the islands off of the Philippines, in the waters off of Vietnam, off the coast of Australia. Tensions running rampant in the Middle East. Have you noticed this? Tensions running rampant. Poland, Romania, the Balkan states, Finland, Sweden. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the middle of a Cold War that's getting hotter and hotter by the day. Go.
Their largest military exercises in nearly 6 years. And in response, North Korea tested 5 missiles, part of a record number of tests over the last 15 months. Nick Schifrin looks at the debate over U.S. policy in the region as the exercises and tests continue.
Above the Korean Peninsula, a show of force. U.S. bombers fly alongside South Korean jets to increase what the U.S. military called wartime strategic strike capabilities. And near the North Korean border, American and South Korean troops fire together as part of 11-day-long exercises they call Freedom Shield and Warrior Shield.
Majority of the training that we've conducted today is always to ensure that we're ready to fight tonight.
But North Korea also tried to show it's ready to fight. Last week on state TV, it tested an intercontinental ballistic missile it says can reach the entire continental U.S. It was a family affair. That's North Korean leader Kim Jong-un with his daughter, and with his sister on the right, alongside senior officials.
Wait a minute, whoa. Was that the sister or the daughter? You never know with these inbreds what's going on. Go ahead.
In the last week, North Korea also launched what it called a simulation of a nuclear attack on South Korea after Kim reduced the threshold for preemptive strikes. And it launched a missile from a submarine, just one of more than 115 tests in the last year, the most in North Korean history.
They have a mission to qualitatively and quantitatively advance their nuclear missile program. They are using military exercises as a pretext, as an excuse. When you look at the past history, they've always conducted these kind of missile tests during the exercises.
Sumi Terry is the director of the Asia program at the Wilson Center in Washington. She says Kim Jong-un has no interest in diplomacy until the U.S. accepts North Korea as a nuclear weapons power.
There goes the neighborhood again. It's really quite unbelievable. And finally, Iran draws closer to Russia as we take a trip around the world. Let's take a look at this from NHK World Japan. Go.
Today, we focus on Iran and its deepening ties with Russia following the invasion of Ukraine. As far as Western countries are concerned, Iran is an international pariah. The United States and European Union have imposed crippling economic sanctions. Negotiations over Tehran...
Stop. The crippling economic sanctions were all but lifted by the Biden administration because they won't enforce most of them. They were crippling under Trump. The Iranian regime was teetering and tottering. The people had risen up. The people have still risen up. But they've sold oil to the Chinese. We used to intercept those ships and so forth, those tankers. Not anymore. Go ahead.
Nuclear development program are deadlocked, and its human rights record has come under fire. But Iran has a friend in Russia, and they are getting even closer. Let's take a look at how the two countries are nurturing their relationship through economic cooperation and arms deals.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. When you consider, let's take a look at Xi in China, how many Uyghurs he's slaughtering and enslaving. Meanwhile, Muslims in the Middle East, including in Saudi Arabia, have gotten very close to Xi. Now, it could be it's a different sect, SECT and so forth, but still. Is that not amazing to you? Go ahead.
Over the past 6 months, Iranian-made drones have become a crucial weapon in Russia's assault on Ukraine.
Where'd they get those Iranian-made drones from? Where'd they develop the technology? They stole it from us. You remember when one of those drones crashed when Obama was president? Well, they took it and they engineered it, and so they made their own drones, and of course they continue to improve them. Go ahead.
Iran says it supplied the drones before the invasion, which it claims it doesn't support. But it's indicated it will continue its military ties with Russia. The history of this cooperation stretches back more than 3 decades. During the Iran-Iraq War, Iran sustained massive damage from Soviet-made Scud missiles fired by its neighbor. After the conflict finished, it sought to acquire its own Russian-made weapons. The ongoing Syrian civil war has brought the two countries closer together as they both threw their military weight behind the Assad administration. In 2016, Iran deployed Russian-made surface-to-air missiles to protect one of its nuclear facilities. And Russian weapons are at the heart of the country's expanding military arsenal. But the invasion of Ukraine changed the dynamic of the relationship. Iran now appears to be supplying its powerful ally with arms. Meanwhile, Moscow and Tehran are pushing forward with a massive project that could further consolidate economic ties. The International North-South Transport Corridor is a logistics network connecting the huge markets of Russia and India via Iran. The sea route through the Suez Canal is about 16,000 kilometers long. The transport corridor shortens that distance to less than half by using roads and rail in addition to shipping. Iran and Russia are trying to create a new economic zone beyond the reach of Western sanctions. Last July, a freight train carrying cargo bound for India arrived in Iran from Russia in a test run. The project was first proposed 22 years ago, but was abandoned due to its high cost. It was restarted last year after Russia found itself facing Western sanctions similar to those imposed on Iran.
Well, there you go. I don't know. There's a lot of problems in the world right now. We have exactly the wrong people at the helm. Exactly the wrong people at the helm. I'm concerned about the psychology of the country as well. Things that are happening within our country that have caused people to lose faith in our country. Being pushed by the American Marxists and these various forces. So those of us who are patriots, who believe in this country, we're dealing with the enemy from within and the enemy from without. And it's a tough thing to do. It's daunting.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.